or the blue light. We are currently recording. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Commission on Women's March 2023 meeting. Happy International Women's History Month, and we are very happy to be here to serve our community and especially our women. First, we're going to go ahead and get started with roll call. And just let me know who, just raise your hand or speak and say you're here if you don't mind. Denise Fuego?
I'm here and it's Fugo. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Miss Carolyn Wright Porcher?
I'm here.
Thank you. Miss Amanda Bunting Coleman? Miss Monique Hill? Miss Lydia Cotton? Miss Jennifer Brown? Miss Hilda Gadsden?
Here.
Thank you. Miss Julie Moore?
Thank you. Many of you know Abigail God, and all of you know that the police.
Councilwoman Carolyn Parker?
Here in front of this stage.
Miss Amy McLeod?
Charges against her have been dropped.
Ms. C.J. Gathers? Ms. Deborah Trogdon Livingston?
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Leslie Scarden?
Here.
Welcome. Ms. Kendra Snight? Ms. Mindy Storm?
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Jamie Roper?
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Catrice Smalls? And I know we had Mr. Dustin Thompson from Charleston City Police Department. And I know Brittany, thank you for co-hosting, getting us rolling. Okay. We have just forum to get rolling.
We do. Did we make it?
Yes, we just made it.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so I guess I call to order. All right. Thank you for your patience, everyone, please.
You're doing great.
Okay. All right, so we definitely are a little late, and I apologize again. And as we get started, I wanted to, first of all, welcome into March, Women's History Month. We have a full agenda today, and without further ado, just wanted to get us started with one of the managers of the Pure Theater, Ms. Megan McMahon, and she is the Patron Experience and Marketing Manager of Pure Theater, especially with regards to the Septima Clark story that is airing all throughout the month. I highly suggest we go out and support that wonderful play. It really highlights the character of the city, but most importantly, definitely illustrates the strength of women in our community. And as a wonderful advocate of civil rights and the mother of all civil rights, it's a wonderful story for us to treasure, especially as a woman from Charleston. So, Ms. Megan, I'm going to go ahead and have you speak.
Yes, thank you. And thank you guys so much for letting me come and say a little bit about this show. So a little over a year ago, the League of Women Voters came to Sharon, our artistic director, with this vision that this year being Septima's 125th birthday, that we would be able to create a play about her life that would also coincide with our 20th season, which is also happening this year. And so we took that to Patricia Williams Dockery, and she put together the show that we now have open and running. And it kind of goes through the whole scope of her life, reflecting back on the different things that she experienced and all the amazing work she did. And so it'll be running through April 1st, and we do have a couple of special events coming up. So next Thursday, March 23rd, we have a history panel that will be a talkback panel after the show. And then on Saturday night, March 25th, after the 7:30 show, we will also be having a ladies' night reception, which we felt was really appropriate for the show and for Women's History Month. And so I will say that tickets have been selling pretty quickly. We do have a pretty small house here, but we do have a couple of other options. If our online tickets sell out, there are $10 single tickets available at the door every night. And those are protected even if online tickets sell out, so people can come and buy a $10 ticket. Our doors open at 6:30 and the show starts at 7:30. And then we are also live streaming the performance with our partner company is called Live Control. And they have this really dynamic way of cutting it together. It's a 3-camera setup, so it really feels like you are right there in the audience in the front row. So we'll also be streaming the performance and the talkback on the 23rd, and then we'll be streaming our matinee and evening performances on April 1st. And I guess open it up for if anybody has any questions for me.
Well, I'll just say I got to see it this weekend with my fellow league board members, and it was fabulous. So highly recommend it. It was really wonderful.
Thank you.
And I'm going to ask one general question was, how did it actually get started? And why this playwright?
So we have actually worked with Patricia before on we did a series during the summer of 2020 called Bearing Witness. That was a play reading series on Zoom. And so we had worked with Patricia before and we knew the scope of her work. And her resume is also just so impressive. She formerly worked at the Avery and just has such a passion for merging this kind of historical research with creativity. And so as soon as the league brought this to Sharon, she was like, Patricia would be the right person to write this, especially since she has such deep roots here in Charleston too. So we are so fortunate to have her on this project and to have her in town with us right now for the run of the show.
So that gives me great pause to invite her, probably have a special meeting maybe if that, the council would like to have her come and kind of have maybe a fireside chat, or for everyone just to meet at the theater on Women's Night and probably get a nice audience with her. Maybe that would be good. So I will ask if that is possible. All right, any other questions? Anyone online?
I
I
have
have
a
a question.
okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just have a comment. Megan, I was there on this past Thursday, and I just wanted to say it was such a wonderful experience. So if you get the opportunity to attend, I'm also a member of the League of Women Voters, and the point that Megan just made that Patricia is from Charleston. For those of you, her maiden name was Lassane. So she is known as Patricia Lassane Williams Dockery. So for those of you who I have to turn this video off, she is well versed in Charleston history. So if you have not seen it yet, please take the opportunity to go see it. I might try to see it a second time.
Is it possible you could put the link in to get online tickets in the chat box, please?
Absolutely. In fact, I have.
Thank you.
I have a question. Are we as a women's committee going to try to go one night together? Or was that, I was confused as if we're meeting, are we meeting on the 23rd at the play, or are we going to try to go together? Or am I just
I
confused?
would love that opportunity. How do I present it to the commission if that is something that we would all like to do. I think that'll be great to support the play. Now, is it possible, Megan, that we may get, if we get a discount rate on tickets if we bring our family members, or, what's the
Yes.
maximum capacity? Because I know the theater was maybe under 50, I believe.
So we have 110 seats in the theater. Yes, but we do still, that ladies' night definitely still has a good amount of tickets available, and we offer a discount for groups of 10 or more. So we'd be happy to set you guys up with, we could even set you up with a promo code so that if you're not all able to attend on ladies' night, you can, if there's another night that works better, you can still take advantage of that discount.
And what day is ladies' night? Is that the 23rd?
It's the 25th.
25th, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Additional questions? Great. Next up, thank you very much, Megan. I really
Thank you.
appreciate your time for coming on and sharing that wonderful opportunity with us.
Thank you, guys.
Alrighty. Next up, we have our wonderful in-house Miss Ruth Jordan. She is the Minority Business Enterprise Manager, and we're here to help support and share along with the Small Business Opportunity Expo that's coming up on March 31st.
Good morning. For those that do not know me, again, my name is Ruth Jordan. I'm here with the City of Charleston's Office of Women Minority Enterprise Office. Our co-mission is business certification, business development, technical assistance, and providing access and opportunities for people of color. And so we're here to present to you our third annual Business Opportunity Expo that will be held right here at the Gilliard Gilliard Center here at number 2 George Street, March 31st from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It is a power-packed expo. I like to call it a reverse trade show. You're not going to be able to buy no cookies or no prints. You're not going to be able to buy anything. What you're going to have is an opportunity to get plugged in. We're going to put almost the entire city on display on how to do business with the city of North Charleston, the county, municipal government agencies, MUSC, the school district, and other resource partners will be here. If you're looking for resources, those kinds of businesses will be here. We have over 40 plus exhibitors that will be here in the grand ballroom. We're also going to be presenting multiple free workshops. We're going to have a special pull-out session for Latinx businesses called Legal Basics for Latinx businesses. That will be our early bird course. Will be from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We're going to have a marketing strategy class being presented by Trio, again, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then we're also going to have, I can't remember the other one, but it's going to be a third class. And then at 10 o'clock, the exhibit hall will open. And then that's we have a whole session called How to Do Business, because we clearly understand that women, minority-owned businesses and small businesses don't know how to get plugged in or get connected. So we're bringing the decision makers in the room. So this is why we call it a reverse trade show. So we want you to come with your capability statements, come with your business cards, and please ensure that you get plugged in, because we understand that women-owned businesses, and particularly businesses of color, sometimes struggle on how to work with governmental agencies. We're also going to have a workshop specifically for veteran-owned businesses. So SBA will be in the house talking about veteran certifications. And then we're going to have a separate pullout called Chats to Contracts at 4 p.m. where we're gonna have 3 prime contractors in the room. This month was National Construction Women in Construction Month as well. And so we're gonna also have those prime contractors in the room talking about the millions and millions of dollars of construction projects that are going on here throughout the region. And so when you see those construction dollars being spent, every kinds of opportunities are there. Everything from architect to real estate to landscaping to brick laying. The food trucks needs to be done. Uniform of scopes of work that they're going to be talking about in those particular opportunities. Then we're going to have what we call the chat, talking with small businesses who've been successful. What were the pros, the cons? It's going to call it the chat on the main stage, the talk. Because we want to hear from those businesses who are in the ground or on the ground working. And so we're going to have 6 of those businesses there so that you can ask questions. And then we're also going to be highlighting our spotlight. Every quarter, the city of Charleston offers a business spotlight winner. And so we're going to present to the entire community our 2023 business spotlight winners. And I also want to encourage you, if you are a business owner or you know someone who are doing a great job, have them nominate themselves. We as women, sometimes we got to pat our own selves on the back. We don't want wait for other folks to nominate you. Nominate yourself or nominate a business that you know that's doing well. And so that application is on our website as well for our business spotlight winners. And then if time permits, last month, we had a group called Black Biz on the Block with Mindy Sturm and Christina Ott, where we gave how much money we give away?
$27,000.
$27,000 in increments of $1,000. So we'll be presenting the micro business owners their awards also on March 31st at the talk or the chat. And finally, we're going to conclude with a reception at 5 p.m. over here at the Gilliard. This opportunity called the Business Opportunity Expo is free. It's not going to cost you anything. It's just going to cost you your time. So we invite you all to please come out and support our 3rd annual Business Opportunity Expo. It's a fun, full day of, again, opportunity and information here. And then I'm going to come back one of these days and tell you about some other exciting things that our office is doing. And I'm here to support any business owners as it pertains to women, minority-owned businesses or small businesses. So I'll take any questions that you may have. So to get registered, again, you need to register. We're expecting over 500 small businesses and others who might be thinking about starting up a business, might want to just get plugged in on how to do business. Go to our website, www.charleston-sc.gov, and then just hit Business Expo. Just hit course page.
I also have it in the slide and I'll
Now
copy
that one actually goes to our 2022.
All right.
You click on that says 2022. We need to get the 2023. It's March 31st from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can't come all day. Just come to the items or the workshops that you like to attend.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Jordan. I just wanted, you said it perfectly. I mean, I sit in every other Tuesday and see all the money going out, and we have a great MWBE platform that all procurement, every item that goes out, every dollar that we put out has to go through procurement. I would love to see more women-owned businesses. So we do need to get more, hopefully those industries and those businesses just getting in through that procurement process. So I would love to see that every other Tuesday.
And so that is the reason why we created this Business Opportunity Expo, was to help increase our diversity spend here with the city of Charleston. We have an ordinance that's been on the book since 1968, 70-ish, that says for every dollar the city spends, 20% of every dollar should go towards qualified, and I want to make sure I say this, qualified minority and women-owned businesses. Because we want to make sure that as taxpayers, that we are diverse in our spending, because we clearly understand that small businesses is what makes our city grow. When small businesses are successful and women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses are successful, our community is successful, our school district is successful, our economy is successful. And so we want to make sure that all these businesses understand how to get plugged in. Because too often, and because I'm here at the Women's Commission, I want to just talk specifically towards women. Women don't know how to get plugged in. They don't know who the decision makers are. And so we're making this opportunity specifically to get engaged, connect, and to learn. And that is our core for this conference. Learn, connect, and engage. But you got to come in order to get connected and to learn and be engaged. We're also looking for volunteers. Maybe someone says, well, you know what? I want to maybe give an hour to this expo. So we're looking for volunteers to please come down and help us, because again, it's a free event. It doesn't cost you anything to participate. And then, but you do have to pay for parking, $5 for parking. So you have to worry about parking in the gear yard. It's just gonna cost you a flat $5 fee. And then when we're asking people to please volunteer, if you have an hour or two of your time to come and help us out with this event.
Put my name down. I'll be happy to volunteer.
Okay, and just tell me what time when you would like to come and volunteer. So
I'll
we,
be there all day.
oh, thank you. Questions? Observations? Well, again, thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for your time. Very valuable. As a women business owner, I definitely support all women and getting them plugged in the economic sphere. It's very important. Our communities need to see a reflection of themselves and know that there are women business owners out there, and everything is open for business. And in order for all of us to thrive together, we have to economically be on an opportunity plane to support each other. So, do we have any questions for anybody that's online, streaming? Any questions at all? Just raise your hand.
Well, I think
Hi, Deborah.
Deborah's up.
Do you mind dropping that email if you want to volunteer? Like, I have to firm up some things. I think I can volunteer those. If you could drop that in
Let's
the
just
email, I
send
would
the
be super
mic.
grateful.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Thank
I will
you.
drop that in there. Just give me 2 seconds.
I appreciate it.
Welcome.
If that's the one right there.
And it's not opening up.
I can do it.
Thank
I
you.
know her address. I can read it.
All right. Any additional questions? All right, wonderful.
I don't have a question, but I was going to, this is Denise Fugo, and I'm an older woman. So I'm talking, when in 1980, a group of women and I in Cleveland, there were 15 of us, and we all had businesses. And we found, even though Cleveland has a very, very good, they have a council of small businesses, it was pretty much, 900, it was 9,000 men and 20 women.
Wow.
So what we did is we started meeting once a month. We met at each person's business for 2 hours, and it was a potluck. And we did that for 20 years. And some of the businesses failed. Some of the businesses grew and grew and grew. I mean, I can tell you a ton of stories. One woman sold her business for $15 million to a Chinese company and only received $100,000 and ended up dying from a stroke. She sold a very successful company, but we were all learning what it meant to run a business. We were all learning what it meant to sell a business. And and the vagaries of what happens when you get 10 million bucks and your husband disappears with the money. So over that period of time, we learned a tremendous amount. And I would suggest that as you bring these women in, you connect them. Now, we called ourselves the Committee of 25 because we thought that sounded stronger, but there were only 15 of us. But again, we never missed a monthly meeting in 20 years. And it probably one of the greatest, because again, it's wonderful if everybody will be coached, but I have been blessed. I have been mentored by women and men my entire life, but some people receive no mentoring at all. So you have to start mentoring each other.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I would love to talk with you. We're opening what we call an ERC, an Entrepreneur Resource Center. I'll come back and tell you about that at another date. I would love to talk with you to get you plugged into our ERC, our Entrepreneur Resource Center.
I did have one.
Absolutely, I'm here for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the East Side community, I know they're very excited about the new, when are you predicting that the center and the James Lewis building?
The completion of the construction should be in September, and we should open that early spring of 24.
Okay, all right, great. Are there opportunities? I was at an East Side community meeting, and they being very eager. I've asked them to come join this meeting, speak with you. I'm sure you've spoken with them.
And I presented at their meeting this
Okay.
month.
Okay.
At their first meeting, I think it was March 1st.
Oh, perfect. So that's when I went in February. I told them to reach out to you.
Yes,
I think
ma'am.
that would be great. So I'm so glad that they did.
Yes,
because-
I presented March 1st at their meeting, and I'm very well connected with East Side Community Center.
So, because I think that's right. So, and I know that's not on, I just wanted to, that's with MWBE, but I will ask something at the end. But thank you. Great.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So much,
All right,
Ms.
thank you.
Jordan. I appreciate your time. That was immense information. I certainly look forward to seeing everyone there on the 31st. I'd like to introduce Ms. Tracy McKee. She is the Chief Innovation Officer of the City of Charleston. Congratulations on that role. I know that you've been in it for a while, but what came across my mind, and would love the opportunity for you to share more about Open Data Day 2023. I think it's important for everyone to understand that data is vital for us to help establish some really wonderful goals, and wonderful metrics is all about meeting the successful aptitude of whatever goal we're choosing to. So without further ado, Ms. McKee.
Thank you. I have some slides to share, so if you could.
Stop sharing.
Yeah. And it looks like you might have to enable screen share as well.
Okay, Jeremy, can you do that?
So while they're doing that, good morning, everyone. It's been a minute since I've made a presentation to the Women's Commission. So I am really excited that y'all asked me to come and talk to y'all, especially when it's about open data and Open Data Day. I could probably go on for hours, but I will try to keep it very brief. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right, y'all should be seeing my slides now. So again, I'm Tracy McKee. I'm the city's Chief Innovation Officer, and I also here today have Robert Hauk, our GIS Director. So I asked Robert to be here, number one, because y'all might have some questions about the data portal or about Open Data Day that he might be critical to answer. But unfortunately, y'all are going to hear a lot of me talking for just a few minutes. So what do we do in the innovation office? What we really try to focus on is culture building. So in fostering a culture that values collaboration. So how do we get people to talk and work together across departments to drive resident focus and data-driven solutions? So it's about using data to inform our decision-making, but it's also engaging with residents so that we are building and creating programs and services with them and not for them. So a little bit of history with open data. So when I was in Robert's position, we launched our first open data portal back in 2013. Around this time, we also became one of the first active members of the White House Police Data Initiative. So Chief Mullen and I were actively engaged in getting the city pulled into that initiative. And what that was really about sharing policing data. So making it transparent to, so that we could have conversations about policing activities and also building trust and understanding with the community that they serve. When I came back to the city, I thought it was really important that we memorialize this commitment to open data. And so with mayor and city council support, they adopted an open data policy back in January of 2021. So I promise I'm going to get to open data today, but why is open data important? Number one, it's the public's data, right? So we should be sharing, and they have a right to access anything that's not sensitive or protected. So making sure that the public has that access. We know that information is knowledge capital. So making sure that our residents have access to that capital. It can really stimulate new ideas and services, which is really what Open Data Day is all about. So really, really important piece of the puzzle. But it also helps reduce staffing burden. The more data that we have out there that people can have free access to reduces the number of FOIA inquiries that we get. So that really reduces the staff time and their capacity for having to respond to those requests. It increases internal data sharing, right? So we continuously trying to break down those silos of governments, get departments really working together. The more that we share data, the more people see it, the more feedback we get on that data. So we can continuously improve the quality. I always like to say when humans are involved, you can expect that there are going to be errors, right? So there's going to be errors in the data. It's never going to be perfect. But sharing that data really helps shine a light on it and allows us to increase the quality. And probably the most important thing is it's about transparent and open government. So it's a way for us to really build trust with the community that we serve. Why do we need a policy? We've got all these people who are already doing all this good work. Well, number one, we shouldn't be relying on a few individuals to make sure that the city is committed to an open and transparent government. But it does a couple of other things too. It provides a framework for us to proactively release publishable data. What do I mean by publishable data? That is really data that is not sensitive or protected. So making sure that we are actively working towards making all of that publishable data available. But it also provides a framework to ensure that we're really being good stewards of our residents' data. And that's through defined roles, responsibilities, as well as accountability mechanisms that are defined in the policy. So finally, what is Open Data Day? Quite simply, it's an annual celebration of open data all over the world. We are 1 year younger than Ruth's Expo. So this year we had our second annual Open Data Day program. And what did you miss? Well, I'm not going to try to talk about any one project or presentation because I would not do them justice. So if you want to go and look at the entire agenda that we covered, I've provided the link here in the in the slide. I can also provide that in the chat. But essentially, it's, summary, we had 11 amazing city staff members from 5 departments present on how their department is using open data in various ways. So there were presentations on applications, decision support dashboards, data stories, as well as open data tutorials. This year, we also had an open data challenge where we encouraged residents to submit their open data projects. The only requirement is that they needed to be using open data in some way, and they had to be able to share that work publicly somehow. So we had 2 residents respond to the call, which we were absolutely delighted about and super exciting. And so one of them presented an application that she built using some open data. And then another one, we had a graduate student who was doing research using our tree canopy data and was building off some of the work by Robert and his team in GIS on street canopy and street tree canopy and heat data. So it was really, really exciting. So just a little encouragement for all of you to attend Open Data 2024, just a little snippet of what our attendees had to say. The full results of our attendee survey can be found on our website if you want to look and see the whole spectrum of what people had to say and the questions that we asked. I encourage you to do that. But essentially, the feedback was very, very positive from our attendees. And if you would like to see, if you go and check out the agenda and see something that you really, really want to go back and watch, you can view it all on YouTube. So if you go to the city's YouTube channel, there's actually 2 sessions on there. So there's one for the morning session as well as for the afternoon session. And thanks to our folks in the IT department, at the bottom underneath the video link, you can actually go to all of the different topics that were covered. So there's links right there. So you don't have to scroll around through the video. There's links embedded in the YouTube channel itself. So encourage you to go and check those out. And of course, if you do, let us know what you think. We'd love to get your feedback. So while I have a captive audience, I'm going to talk a little more about some of the work that's happening around open data. So last year, we were asked to participate in a program called the City Data Alliance. It's a Bloomberg Philanthropies initiative. And basically, they selected mayors that are the most sophisticated, ambitious, and advanced at harnessing data. And really what they wanted to do is take that group of mayors and help them elevate their use of data to a whole new level. So what has this engagement been look like? There's 2 tracks really that we've been involved in. The first is a 6-month engagement that involved executive education and individualized coaching. And then there's a second piece that's been a technical track, and Ruth, who's in the room with y'all there, is part of that technical team. And this was really, we focused on one critical data practice, and we selected results-driven procurement. So obviously a topic that's pretty close to Ruth's heart, and I think to a lot of you that are business owners in the room. So what are the outcomes of this engagement? The technical track is still in progress, and they're making a lot of progress. For those of you that follow some of the city council things, you know that we just changed some procurement limits, and that was one of the recommendations that kind of has bubbled up through some of this work. And I think there's a lot more to come from that. But at the executive level, there was kind of this development of an overarching citywide data strategy, which is a 3-year vision and actionable plan to advance our city's use of data to improve outcomes. So that strategy is still in a draft format. I would say we're probably at the final draft of that, going through some final reviews. So that should be ready for kind of public consumption in the next couple of weeks. And I would love to share it with you all and even get your feedback on it. And then, of course, for the technical track, really strengthening our procurement practices to increase transparency and maximize the use of public funds for services. And I know that women and minority-owned businesses is really part of that work as well. So really quickly, I mentioned the data strategy, and I kind of pulled out the highlights of that work that were least related to open data. The first is to establish an open data advisory council. So what does that group of people do? It's kind of a four-pronged approach. That council will help inform how we can better engage community members in decision-making processes, inspire the creation of innovative applications to improve service delivery. It'll extend and improve community outreach by helping us kind of publicize our open data initiatives, as well as provide recommendations for improvement or expansion of the open data portal. The second piece is to build upon the policy that I mentioned earlier, our open data policy, to develop a data governance charter and committee. So what does that mean? It's really about trying to establish some best practices through strategies, policies, and standard operating procedures to address different data challenges, such as data quality and standardization, data ethics, privacy and equity, different data collection methods, data retention, and even training and education. The third piece is develop open data user guidance through online video tutorials. We have created one so far, so encourage you to check that out through our open data help. But we are going to be releasing 4 more this year as part of this strategy. And the last is develop an open data use tracking and reporting protocol. Our GIS wizard, Robert here, we already have the capability to track that. We just need to formalize how we pull that data and also how we report that data out. So what's coming in 2023 around open data? There'll be an open data report to Mayor and City Council before May 1st, 2023. That is mandated by our open data policy. We are currently working on identifying more data sets to be published this year, and then hopefully adopting and begin implementing the data strategy that we've developed through this City Data Alliance program. And again, while I have a captive audience, what else is happening? I encourage all of you to check out our priority stat meetings. So what is priority stat? Basically, these are stat meetings where we use data to drive and demonstrate progress on the mayor's highest priorities. The key piece of this, though, is it's not just about using data in silos. It's about all the departments that have a vested interest working together to make sure that we're all marching to the same beats, if you will. So, and all working together to achieve the outcomes that we want. So if you want to get a better sense of what priority stat is all about, we actually have a housing stat meeting tomorrow in the very room that y'all are in at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning at 2 George Street. But you can also attend in your bunny slippers via Zoom webinar, or you can watch it on YouTube. And Robert and I will be happy to try to answer any questions that y'all might have. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you, Ms. McKee. That was awesome. Open it up for any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Or could you get us numbers by the next meeting of the number of women that we have working for our city? I know you talked about women business owners, but do you have the number of women that work in our city, their roles, police, fire, environmental services? Again, this is something at the beginning of my term, finding out, I mean, we only have a handful of women firefighters, so I just think some of that data would be really great to share with this commission. Also, I think how many women, I know we just went through, Tracy I don't know how she does all the data and the numbers. That is not my forte. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I don't know how Tracy does it, all the data, numbers, and configurations, but she's amazing. But women live in the city of Charleston? You know, that's something I never really asked you during redistricting because we just talk about, you know, people as a whole, but it's certainly an aspect of the data portion that would be interesting to know. Even by district, just that's more for me, you know, just so I can, the men at the table, we can kind of know. And I just think that's an interesting data point, you know, that I certainly would like to know. I don't know about everyone else.
Yeah, Councilmember Parker, great questions. And so glad to see you at the Women's Commission. And you have been attending our flood stat meeting, so I personally invite you to attend housing stat as well. So for employees, what I can do is we do an employee survey every 2 years, and really that's headed up by our process improvement director, but I can get that report to you. We are getting ready to launch. We do it every 2 years with employees just to get a sense of, you know, how are our employees doing, and to get kind of an overall view of what does our workforce actually look like. So I can send you the report from 2 years ago, and then hopefully by this summer we're going to have results of this year's survey. If they haven't launched it yet, I think that's coming in April. So we'll have some information, some results of that, hopefully late this summer, maybe early fall. And pulling the census data, yeah, we can definitely do that. Now, when we did redistricting, they don't give us that much detail, but all of that should be available now. So we can certainly take a look at that citywide, as well as by different areas of the city, as well as by council districts. So we should have access to that and should be able to pull that pretty easily. Be happy to do it.
Neat. Well, thank you. I think that would be
Sure.
exciting.
I think that's extremely valuable.
Yeah.
Tracy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So
I can hear
Tracy,
you.
So one of the data sets that my office constantly get asked, the types of businesses or how many women-owned businesses are registered here in Charleston, or minority-owned business. And I know that everybody that operates in Charleston should have a business license. And so being able to get that data in terms of women-owned business and minority-owned business, are we tracking that, or are we able to report that out as a data set for the entire city of Charleston?
That is an excellent question, Ruth. And I know that we can, I know there's some sensitivity with business license data, but that doesn't mean that all the data in business license is sensitive. So we would probably just need to work with BFRC to define, you know, what fields we could pull that wouldn't be sensitive or protected, and actually work to make that data become available. However, the one thing I'm not aware of, and Robert may know this off the top of his head, is when they do business license intake, do they actually record that in our InterGov system? And I'm not sure of the answer to that. Robert, do you know?
I believe they actually just started doing that within the last 6 months. And I think one of the presentations in the YouTube video was that they talked about the dashboards that they're building internally to view that data. But yeah, the data is just now starting to come in. That's something they ask when people apply for business licenses, is sex and racial demographic type information. So we can do that. We can start to report on things like the number of women businesses. So it's coming.
And I know you know this, Ruth, because the peeps in your office are doing this, but the King Street business database, we know has all of that information. But I think you're right. Like, it's not just about King Street. How do we understand the city as a whole and what that looks like? So I think that's a great thing to look at.
Because we constantly get that question, and they expect the city to know the answer. And so when I have companies come into Charleston, or organization wanting to come to Charleston, they ask that question. How many minority-owned businesses operating in the city of Charleston? I can't answer that question. And then finally, you know what my final question is? Diversity spend. How much money are we spending in the city of Charleston with minority and women-owned business? Being able to report that number out. We've been trying to track it by paper, but this is 2023. And so we need to be able to plug that in. If we spent $5 billion, how much of that went to women minority-owned businesses?
You know that this is something I'm passionate about as well, Ruth. And as we both know, the answer is it's coming. The ability to do that is coming. Unfortunately, we, as you know, we just don't have a great process for doing that, a reliable process for doing that at the moment. But as we implement our new ERP system, that is top of mind to be able to do that. So, yeah.
I like to keep it in the public square.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you. We have one additional question. Mr. Ogden Livingston.
Yeah, so I heard all of this, and I'm intrigued because I'm wondering if there would be a way by next National Women's History Month to utilize some of this data about like a City of Charleston woman's experience and use that as part of like a promotional campaign, or is this a product we could put out through the commission? It's kind of a thought, not sure how that would work or what would the best avenue would be.
Yeah, we've been creating a lot of story maps recently, and I'm wondering if that might be a great a tool to use to try to number one, collect some of that information and tell a story. So I think it would require kind of a work group together to put the narrative together along with some folks who are data experts to be able to pull the data. But I think that sounds like a fantastic project. So I love it. I'm not sure off the cuff how we accomplish that, especially in a short time frame. But if you check out our racial equity story map, I think that took us about I think we spent about 6 months working as a team to create that. But it was, very thoughtful and, really thinking about the dialogue that went along with that story map. Thanks, Robert. I hate you just put a link in the chat. It's a really great story map, and that's at least what comes to mind as a final output, or a working output of that data. So I love that idea.
I'm really a big fan of the work that you do. So I work for NUSC libraries, but also I work for the network of the National Library of Medicine, and we are all about being data driven and ways that we can tell stories from the work we do. And so I applaud what you're doing. This looks great.
Thanks. It's not a team of one. It is. There's a lot of people, a lot of great data people in the city. So, but thank you. I will pass that along.
Excellent. Any additional questions? Really great points. Lots of takeaways. I think we're going to have a lot of supporting data to go along with our active engagements and what of our supportive engagements endeavors that as a council and a commission we decided on last year. So more to come with that. Tracy and Rob and your team, thank you, because we're definitely gonna need those numbers to support our initiatives and get rolling. It's a year ahead. All right, and thank you so much. Our final presentation for Women's History Month, Mindy Strum with the Mayor's Office for Children, Youth, and Families, and also we have Ms. Jamie Roper. Please.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So a little bit, Ruth shared a little bit about our National League of Cities Equitable Economic Mobility Initiative, through which we were able to give those micro business grants for Black-owned businesses. It was really cool. We were in this room and we had everybody come for 2 days of workshops, and they had some time with the mayor. We did provide them with $1,000 to go towards their businesses. Also, though, we provided them with a 1-year subscription to Low Country Local First. So that will hopefully extend their ability. Yeah, we were really excited to be able to do that. So it was a wonderful way to utilize some of those funds. Also, to the point about data, because we're only capturing race and ethnicity and gender on new permits, it was a really great way to begin to make inroads and connections to Black-owned businesses. And many of them were women-owned businesses as well. I don't know the breakdown, but I would say we skewed probably a little more towards women. I can't say that for certain. But at any rate, I think it helped to sort of foster and promote a relationship and, the feeling that we want to support Black-owned businesses for sure and get them into Ruth's pipeline so that this is where you are now. How can you build and grow your business? So that was really cool. And then complementing that, we are tonight having our second in a series of 3 community workshops. And those are all on financial literacy. So we have representatives from Increasing Hope coming into, last week was on really basic budgeting and savings and how to really make the most of your banking relationship. And this week will be how to fix your credit or build your credit. So I'm going to be paying close attention to this. And then next week we'll focus on how you can set yourself up for home ownership. So, and also it's wonderful to have grant funding because we're able to provide $100 gift cards for the attendees that are coming tonight. So it's a really good way to show our value for their time and help them out with their family finances. So I will turn it over to Jamie and I can point in direction for
my information. Just really brief. I just wanted to share with everybody about the Senior Expo that's coming up. MUSC and Trident Area Agency on Aging have partnered to do the Senior Expo on March 23rd from 9 to 1 p.m. and it's going to be at the Charleston Convention Center. This is an annual event and it is awesome. There are interactive activities, there are free medical screenings, there are workshops, there's entertainment, there's a lot of free giveaways. But the biggest part is that it's going to provide a lot of information for seniors, for their caregivers, for family members to access the local resources that are available to the senior community. So I strongly advise people to attend. It is a free event, the parking is free, and the admission is free. So please do attend and take advantage of all the opportunity and information they're going to provide. It's going to be at the Charleston Convention Center in North Charleston. It's off International Boulevard, or you can come from Montague. Either entry is fine. What date is that again? It's March 23rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And there's going to be vendors and exhibitors from every aspect. They're doing workshops on everything from how to move or how to downsize to getting home health. Just about everything they will cover.
Excellent. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
I wanted to say too, if you guys are gonna come, I will be at our booth and I'd love to meet you. I'll be at the NNLM Region 2 MUSC booth. Look for blue and white, and we'll be giving away information about health literacy and just some of the free services, and we do grant funding and things too, so who knows what kind of connections we can make, so be on the lookout.
Excellent. Thank you. Great plug. Thank you, everyone. I know we are 3 minutes over. Wow. What a way to kick off the year. I think we put in a whole year in the past 50 minutes. And thank you, everyone, for attending. Next, I have on our agenda any new business, but I think our new business, okay. Definitely new business is to get some data plugged in, aligned with our initiatives, prepare for our next monthly meeting, which will be on April 19th. I do want to take this opportunity to say 2 things. Thank you so much, Councilwoman, for being there last night at City Council. The mayor dedicated the month of March for Women's History Month, so thank you so much for being there to accept the proclamation. And I also wanted to say thank you very much for joining Ms. Garden, our newest Commission on Women member. So welcome. If you want to say a few words on who you are and introduce yourself, I know it's right at the hour.
Sure, I'll be fast. My name is Leslie. Nice to see you all. I live on James Island. In terms of my civic engagement, I'm on the board of the League of Women Voters of the Charleston area as their director of advocacy. I'm also the founder of Charleston Civil Rights and Civics, which is an incredible new program for high school students to talk about the importance of civil rights and civics. I'm happy to talk more about that. I'm engaged with the International African American Museum on their Interfaith Advisory Committee. I've worked with the city before on their climate action plan. And I also work as a director at a marketing firm as my day job. And I'm the mother of 1-year-old twin boys who turned 1 on Sunday. So
Awesome, congratulations on that.
Just that last little major thing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm excited to serve with you all. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome, thanks for joining. All right. Anyone else on our Zoom with open questions? And I'm gonna open it up to the floor. Got it.
You ready?
Yes.
So again, I just wanted to share this. This was the proclamation that the mayor gave last night in recognition of Women's History Month. So I just wanted to give that to you, our new chairwoman.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I have a
I'd like to show
few.
this.
Yeah, I know. I wish everyone were here to share it, but yeah. So I have a few things, and I'll be quick. So I know, one, I encourage everyone to sort of reread the ordinance that formed the Women's Commission. I know I sent an email to y'all about just really I really hope that everyone on this commission is here to be committed, bring something so that we can bring it out of this commission, get it to council, get funding for things that we need in this city. I cannot do that alone. I am a one-woman show for my district, so I really need this group to help me and advocate for me. I am the only woman on city council, so I am living proof that there is still a disparity out there. So and to say that there are not challenges in a city that promotes, fairness and inclusion and all that, there are still things that, I see being a woman and sitting in a room like this. So I really look forward to the support of this commission. Not selfishly, but I would like to nominate myself for vice chair if that is, if that is okay with everyone. And this is why. I would really like to assist you, in getting things on the agenda, having action items. We had Tracy talk about data and action items. I mean, we need to set goals in this commission. We need action items, and the only way we're going to do that is if we meet every month. But we barely made quorum today. I think it's really important just to reach out to all of the people who have stepped up and that are willing to serve on this commission, just to make sure that they still want to. Because having everyone here, whether it's on Zoom or in person, is really important in meeting those goals. So I hope to hear from everyone. Maybe on the next month's agenda, we can ask for just some specific goals, whether it's from your organization that this commission can help with, if it's something from the city's departments, that there are things that we can really put into, a plan and get some action. I would, let's see, what's my last thing? Oh, so like I said, just reread. I think it's important. Reread the ordinance. Talk about all the things that we can work on. I know what I see from my end. I mean, we lost some people in recreation. So swimming lessons are something. I think it's really important, and I want to be proactive and not reactive. So I know that this is something that's going to come up. I hear it from downtown. I hear it all over the city. Our recreation programs, and I think they're important for mothers. So. That's certainly something I want to continue to talk about, but yeah, I think that's it. Those are my sort of tidbits. And
Excellent. Very welcomed, very welcomed. And I did, thank you. I did send the ordinance as an attachment for everyone to review, to bring up for ideas and feedback to support the council commission and going forward. And I also attached the priority issues that we had established last year, and all of them we've been very successful in supporting. So just a refresher, our priority issues of 2022 that we had active engagement and continue to actively engage. Funding for paid family leave, support for community resource centers, support for a family justice center, support of legislation in the South Carolina legislature mirroring our priority issues. And that partners with our supportive engagement, affordable and low income housing. I think that is crucial for a healthy community. Sexual exploitation and human trafficking, in which, we have a low crime area with successful businesses. I think we move the needle ahead and reduce a lot of these opportunities for crimes to occur. And any overall economic empowerment and the intersectionality with many other issues, including but not limited to pay equity. And ironically, I think it was yesterday was Pay Equity Day. Paid family leave, housing, employment, childcare, technology access, and the impact of cryptocurrencies, which is decentralized finance, which also supports our economic foundation. So with that, I'm going to adjourn, or let's do a motion to conclude this meeting. But first, I want to make sure that, do we have any objections to moving ahead with casting a vote or support of the vice chair position for Councilwoman? And just think about it and bring it on agenda for our April meeting, if that's okay.
What was the date of that meeting? I'm sorry.
April 19th. Anyone online? Any last minute thoughts before we adjourn, or do I make a motion to adjourn?
So moved, yeah.
Okay, adjourned. It is it. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. Appreciate your time and efforts, and we look forward to a wonderful, busy year ahead. Thank you all.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Y'all feel free to reach out. We'll leave you a couple flyers.
Yes, please. I actually will be attending.
Yes. And if you can share those with any of your
I'm off to the next meeting.
partners. Thank you so much.
I got my social workers meeting
Oh, okay.
via Zoom.
Do you have any
I
more, or
feel
is this all your
Yeah,
cards?
okay.
I'll see you back there.